people talk about Bitcoin being a cryptocurrency like the other ones, but they're not really currencies. They're not a unit of account. They're not a scalable means of payment. They're not a stable store of value. They're not a single numeraire. Bitcoin in the past went to 17 down, then to 16. Now it's above 100. You could have another 50% correction. So it's a speculative asset like meme stocks, SPACs, and others, highly volatile. Many people are going to it, but take El Salvador. They force everybody to use Bitcoin as legal tender, and less than 1% of all transactions are occurring in Bitcoin. So I don't think it's going to ever become a currency, but it's going to be a speculative asset.
At what point are we facing off with a potential dollar shock? And I ask this because, yes, the euro is likely to stay around here or weaken further, but what if it actually weakens dramatically as the ECB is forced to cut rates and that divergence widens?
Well, there are many good reasons why the dollar may continue to strengthen. One is, of course, tariff. If they reduce the trade deficit, it's going to strengthen. Two, Trump had said, I want to have actually the dollar at the center of the global reserve system, and therefore that implies you want strong dollar than a weaker dollar. Relative growth differential, relative monetary policies, the fact that the U.S. is innovating and capital is flowing into the U.S. capital markets and the stock market all imply that the dollar over time should become stronger, the euro and other currencies should become weaker. The problem, however, is that Trump says a strong dollar has led to deindustrialization, to American carnage, people free riding on us, to having large trade deficit, and we want at some point a weaker dollar. The fundamentals imply a stronger dollar, but policy there may be an attempt eventually, maybe in the second half of the administration, to find an agreement on currency, maybe to say either you accept 10% tariffs or you accept a 10% depreciation of the dollar. I would not rule out there'll be some big Mar-a-Lago agreement. These FX agreements are always in a resort. Bretton Woods,
and Mar-a-Lago Accord,
Plaza, Louvre, and so on. So a Mar-a-Lago Accord is something that they're going to think about. Not in the first 2 years, but down the line, they're going to say to the trading partners, you don't want tariffs, you have to do other things for us.
So welcome to the teeny tiny shoebox apartment inside the arcade. There are lots of others in the building just like this. So mine is about 250 square feet. There's a walkway right in front of the facade because this used to be a shop front, and so people had to access all of the shops in the building.
While malls across the U.S. are facing store closures and empty parking lots, some are finding a new life from an unlikely source. We are here at the Arcade Mall in Providence, Rhode Island, the oldest indoor shopping mall in the country. The arcade had long been a center point in Providence's bustling downtown, but like other malls, it fell on hard times and was completely vacant. But rather than letting this historic building fall into ruin, developers came in and decided to build 48 micro-lofts here on the second floor and up here on the third floor.
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher, and I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Robini saying Bitcoin will never be a currency. And he's right when it comes to the people, but it definitely can be a currency when it comes to the machines. And the Bitcoin white paper, Bitcoin was clearly supposed to scale. But that's the reason why we have all these altcoins. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you. And we have Trump will devalue the dollar like he did before. We are going to a level playing field. And teamwork makes the dream work. A Patreon member sent me this video. Old malls being converted to small apartments. Affordable homes, guys, we know is the agenda. And because when the sheep are going to be out of work, and these apartments are less cost, and everything is at their fingertips, 15 minutes away. And I'm pretty sure you have apartments in your area where they have the mall and then the apartments built on top. They're doing a lot of that in the big cities. I know that's where I'm at. We have it, but it's definitely not 250 square feet. They have cathedral malls at like over $2,000 a month. But everything around them is walking distance. Now we have OpenAI and other big tech teaming up with defense companies. And these tech companies have all the data. And then all this data is going to be transferred over to the military. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what does. With all this data, they're going to know you better than you know yourself. And we have robots, algorithms, and drones will take over healthcare, saving billions. And of course, the way they're selling it is that all this technology is there to help the nurses, help the doctors. But guys, we know it's there to replace them. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you. And we have Elon, Trump, and Vivek on Doge, cutting the deficit. And it's going to put a lot of people out of work. And like I told you, they will get on social media, list all the money that's being wasted. And of course, the people are saying, yes, yes, get rid of it, not knowing they're going to be affecting a lot of families. Just like when you look at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, all the mom and pops they put out of work. It's unbelievable. And we have part 2 of the port strike. And remember, they didn't come to an agreement when it came to automation. And we know automation is going to take over these ports. They already do it overseas. It's coming to America. And guys, remember, this is a plan that moves in phases. The robots, algorithms, and drones are going to take this economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep are going inside the metaverse. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
OpenAI stepping further into the national security arena and doing so with, as you mentioned, another fast-growing venture-backed darling, Anduril Industries. The startups together are announcing a strategic partnership. This is to develop and responsibly deploy advanced AI for national security missions. Now, this brings together OpenAI's models with Anduril's defense systems and Lattice software platform. And put this simply, this enables Anduril to leverage OpenAI models to assess drone threats more quickly, more accurately, to give military personnel the information to make better decisions while staying out of harm's way. This is really a counter-drone initiative, at least initially. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman saying in a statement, quote, OpenAI builds AI to benefit as many people as possible and supports U.S.-led efforts to ensure the technology upholds democratic values. Now, in the press release, the company's highlighting that in light of the race against adversaries like China, this strengthens the U.S. commitment to maintaining a technological edge and ensures that AI tools upholds democratic values while protecting military and critical infrastructure. It's very similar sentiment to what we've heard from, for example, Palantir, where Alex Karp has said AI has and will be critical to the notion of future deterrence. OpenAI has been expanding into the space. It's been working with the Air Force, DARPA, but this partnership represents the first time for the startup with another company. And in this case, it's the $14 billion fast-growing defense tech company that's founded by Oculus creator Palmer Luckey, Anduril. Now, it comes after Palantir struck a recent partnership with Anthropic, and last month, that Meta said it, too, would make its Llama AI available for defense work. So, guys, this is very much a trend.
Is in the U.S. for the annual meeting of the Radiological Society of North America, so you can see where we're going with this. And that is whether machines and AI can be better than a doctor at all these subjective diagnostic things that we worry so much.
Walks into a hospital, feels it, sees it, and AI can actually really make a difference. And I think it's not competing with the caregivers or the people in the hospital, actually supporting them, what we need to look for with our innovations. And actually what you saw at the imaging show that we were, and that I'm just coming from, is actually that a lot is happening already today that helps caregivers, whether it's a doctor in better diagnosis, whether it's the technician in first time right positioning with the help of AI, or whether it's a nurse in giving her time or him time back, spending more time with the patient, because we can do some of the reporting that they need to do. On average, a nurse spends 20 minutes on admin tasks an hour. And actually that we want to reduce to 5 minutes. And there AI can really make a meaningful difference.
To prioritize this kind of project. This has been attempted before. Conservatives and even some Democrats have talked about for a long time the importance of downsizing the federal government, mostly just to the tune of rhetoric without a lot of action to go with it. And if you do something the way it's always been done and it's failed before, it's going to fail again. President Trump had the creativity and vision to set this up differently, to say that if you want a different result, you got to do this very differently. From the outside, you got two outsiders, Elon, myself. President Trump, in many ways, is himself an outsider as the president. And to be able to look at not just, and I think this is important to understand about the project here, not just about cutting cost, but about restoring true self-governance in America, where right now the people we elect to run the government, they're not the ones who actually run the government. It's unelected and even in many cases unappointed federal bureaucrats that make most decisions that impact everyday Americans, both through the regulatory state and even through expenditures that go out the door from people who were not elected and not even appointed by those who were elected. So it's a massive problem we're taking on, but I do think that it is something that we're taking on in a very different way.
Port operators and the union have put out some statements that seem to be indicating that they kind of have their feet dug in the sand. Is that something that a lot of these companies that you cover are worried about? Is that something you think investors should keep their eye on?
Absolutely. It kind of feels like we're living in Groundhog Day here. The East Coast ports obviously had a threatened strike a couple of months ago. Now we're doing it again. And that also, frankly, is probably part of what you're seeing in terms of the pull forward of volume. It's hard to see how this doesn't get resolved at some point, but now we have a lot more political uncertainty in that mix. Whereas previously, I think Biden was a little bit more willing to be aggressive. Now he's probably going to step off a bit. So this could drag on a little bit longer and be a little bit uglier than what it has been in the past.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're going to get more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, if new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance, do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.